That's right, ladies and gentlemen, another episode of Everything at Random. Today I'm joined with a special guest. I don't even want to give him an intro because this guy is amazing. Like, he has inspired me to get back into podcasting because I see the amazing stuff that he's doing. Uh, right now, we're gonna call this episode "Soulful Talks: Navigating Spiritually, Stress, and Strength." Okay, let the world know who you are.
Well, hey guys, I am Reynaud Kent. Some people may say Renaud Kent. I think everybody calls me different names. It is what it is. I'm a podcaster. I have a super dope podcast that I think is dope. It's called Not Safe for Church, and really, it's just a journey of navigating spiritual things, real life things, and just having a conversation where everybody has a seat at the table. And truly, nothing is off limits to discuss. I think a lot of times when people go into faith spaces, there's limits. But if you come to the Not Safe for Church podcast, there are no limits. We will talk about it, and I will say it, and I do not care. Period.
All right. So let's get a little bit deeper. Tell me about yourself, your journey with faith, spirituality, or your higher connection to that.
Yeah, I grew up in church. My parents heavily involved in the faith. I mean, heavily. Oh my God, not the hookah. Pass me the hookah.
There you go. I told you, grab your drink, grab whatever you need.
In here. It's just water, but I love it. But I will have a drink. But I have to go to work tomorrow. My other work, but there's a work I'll talk about. But literally, our parents super Christian people. I was raised in church. And they really had a foundation for me in my relationship with Jesus. And I think as I got older, I started to have to navigate some different things with faith. But for a long time, I just stood on what I was taught, what my parents raised me to be. And then I think you get like to a point in your adulthood, I don't know, like your late early 20s, and you're like, do I really believe all this stuff? Does this make sense for me as a human? Is this what God is saying to me, or is this what my parents are saying to me? Is this what God is saying to me, or this is what has been taught at the churches I was brought up in? Or in even the churches I was currently in. Mm-hmm. But I just, in the pandemic, I had an awakening, and it was just like, I don't know if I believe what they believe, and I just had to navigate that journey. But I still believe in Jesus, and all that good stuff. But I just don't think everything is that deep.
Okay.
I think everything is very simple.
I like that. All right. So now we have an understanding of this amazing podcast you have, your journey with faith. But let's dig a little bit deeper. How does your belief in higher power or involvement with the church impact your approach on managing stress and mental health challenges in your life? Only reason why I ask is because, my last couple of episodes, we've been focusing more on mental health, and me personally, like, this has been my therapy sessions. Yeah. So I've been learning different ways to deal with it. And me personally, I would love to learn a little bit about faith and how it could maybe help me to find like maybe inner peace or something. Cause I'm searching for it. I never want to steer away from anything.
Yeah. Well, first I want to say, just like in like the natural realm of things, I've been with the same therapist for 7 years. So for me, mental health, all that stuff is so important. But I also think like if you want to mix, because a lot of times our faith comes from, faith comes by hearing. That's what the Bible says. And so your faith often comes from people you hear. And, I'm not trying to be, shady or disrespectful, but a lot of times in church, they're always like, Jesus can fix it. Jesus can do it all. And I do believe that. But I also believe Jesus can put people here on this earth to help you get better. And so I think sometimes in church, we try to make spiritual things so natural. And it's like, you can't really always mix the two. Like sometimes you are really depressed and you need tools from a human. Like, it's not going to be from a song at church. It's not going to be from a sermon. And sometimes it will be. But I think being open, especially when it comes to mental health, to find out what works for you. Like I know for me, prayer works for me. talking to God honestly, having direct communication. When I pray, things always change. If I'm depressed, God will help me find a way to maybe have a conversation with somebody to pinpoint where that depression is, or say I'm just trying to figure out something. I'm like, God, like show me the way, lead. And I literally just feel like prayer has been my thing, and I even have gone so far as like I've had a prayer wall in my house since probably like 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And every year in about December, I start to write down certain things that I want God to do in a year during the year, and I see a lot of those things happen. And so I think also that just shapes my faith. And so I just think for mental health, for me, I talk to God about it because I feel like He is the only one that can change something. Like when you think about prayer,
Mm-hmm.
I think like prayer reminds me of how unlimitless our God is. Like when you pray, you are talking to the creator of the world. You're talking to the creator of the world. Like, think about that. Like, nothing is impossible.
That's it. Like he can solve all. He sees it all, and he forgives all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could go on a tangent. Like, it's just
Yeah.
crazy to me. So prayer helps me also not settle. And a lot of times when we're angry or upset, we are really just settling.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're not doing the right thing. But if I pray about it, He can get me out of it. If I pray about it, He can find another way. So yeah, and I pray honest. Like I don't do that fake shit. I don't do that.
What's the
I
fake shit?
I don't do that.
Speak on it. Speak on
Oh,
it. What's that
God,
fake?
we come before you. Oh, no, and I can pray like that.
Mm-hmm.
Church. I can make the church go up. But when I pray about God, like, ooh, this person at my job, I really want to beat them up, God. Whenever she talks, I want to, or I might be like, oh, God, oh, my mama's getting on my nerves. God, like, help me deal with her. I want to honor her. I want to celebrate her. Or, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just very honest. Like, I'm like, God, ooh, God, I just feel like I want to do a lot right now. I want to give myself to everybody. Like, ooh, calm these hormones down. Like, I'm just very honest in my prayers.
I respect that. I
Yeah.
love that. And when you say these things, are you saying these things out loud? Like
Oh, yes.
you're
I'll be in my car.
speaking it into existence.
Yes. In
Yeah.
my car, loud. Like,
Yeah.
like somebody probably think I'm on the phone with somebody. I'd be like, God. There's even times, and like, I'd be funny, but like a lot of times, I've had moments where I've just cried and screamed. Like, why the heck am I in this season? Like, God, when are things gonna get better?
Yeah.
Like, when is the change coming?
Mm-hmm.
I've had those same prayers in my car too. I've had those same prayers out loud. Just like I don't understand it. Like I'm ready to give up.
And for people listening, all those things you just said, we say that to ourselves and we don't even think like God. We just say it out loud. Do you feel as though like you get those answers in that moment, or or just saying it out loud just calms you?
I think when I say it out loud, I think whenever I talk out loud, like I'm not talking to myself. So like it makes me feel like you're listening. Like, and if I always think about like when my parents taught me, like when you call on the name of Jesus, He'll be there. And in my head, I'd be like, and I might even say like, they said if I call your name, you will answer, you will be there.
Mm-hmm.
So here I am. I'm calling out. I'm reaching out. Like, can you help me? Can you show up? And honestly, He always does. Maybe not in my timing or what I thought I wanted Him to be when I thought I wanted Him to do it, but He always shows up. And I don't know. I think that some people have made, and this is not even like on this, but I think some people have made faith so untangible that people feel like they have to live a certain way to get faith or have to do something. Like this man in heaven, the God I believe, he's for everybody. Like I believe Jesus is for everybody. It's unconditional love. But I think we live in a world where love is often by condition.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love you if he would do this, if she would do this. But that's not how God's love is. God is, I love you even if you do this. And so it's just unconditional. And I think I wish people could get how unconditional it is.
I love
that. You won't even be like, I don't care what they say about my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's right here.
I always see it as like I need to be in the church, or I always felt like I needed to be there. Like, why would he listen to me at this point of just need? Like, I need something at this point where I'm at my lowest. And there was been moments where I'm just like, I don't know who to call upon. I'm just lost.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to figure out what to do next.
Yeah.
But and then in my mind, I felt as though at times, like my family I'm born Catholic, but a lot of family members are always saying like, "I'm gonna go to church. Why don't you just speak to God and tell God that?" And he goes, "When you're saying these things out loud, are you asking? Are you,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Are you really truly talking to Him?"
Yeah.
And I, just like you said, like I felt as though like I needed to be there. I like if I don't pray or if I never confess my sins, He's not going to be there for me.
Yeah.
And it's not like that. And I love that you mentioned that. I love that.
Yeah. He's unconditional. I don't think we have ever seen that.
No.
Like, I'm a conditional lover. Like, we're all conditional. Like, there's some, we say for better or for worse at when you get married, but there's a worse that you will leave for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, God is not like that. He is, even when you do that worse, I'm still there.
Yeah.
And I'm there again. And I'm there again.
I love that. I love that. All right, we're going to jump into the next one. For someone who may be spiritual but not strongly aligned with any religion, what advice would you give? And like somebody who's trying to incorporate spirituality practices or seeking guidance from a higher power. Like for me, like I'm trying to figure out like how do I do this? Like I said, I'm saying it out loud, but I'm like saying it to myself. Like how do you guide somebody in these troubling times?
I would say to somebody who is not spiritual or just trying to figure it out, just follow the breadcrumbs. And I know it sounds like really, really dumb, but I think if you follow where the breadcrumbs are leading you, you will know what's real. And I think a lot of times we compare what maybe somebody else's experience or what it looked like for this person or what it looked like for that person. And it may not look like that for you. Like the faith that what I believe today is not what I thought it would be like 20 years ago. Like even the people who led me to faith, I don't believe what they believe about everything. And so I think it's following the breadcrumbs and honestly listening to that. Everybody has, some people say like, oh, I feel it in my stomach or I feel it in my heart. I feel like I have a thing where like, when I know I'm supposed to do something, my stomach does this weird thing that I can't contain. And so like, I just follow. I know it sounds dumb, but
no.
I have a friend, he's a therapist, and he always says, do what works for you. And so it works for me. And I think when you're on a spiritual journey, find out what works for you. You know when you're headed in the right direction. And you know when you're going the wrong direction. You know when you don't feel connected. You know when you feel, and don't do that. Do what you know is right to do. And if you don't know what to do, just pause.
And you feel as though like me not having that, like these are the things I should do. But do you think I should, maybe me or anybody else, should they reach out to a church? Should they reach out to what they know? And it's not like no pressure to anybody, but just maybe an idea. Because yes, the breadcrumbs, but where do they start?
I think if somebody
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to, and I want everybody to know, I'm not trying to push anybody any type of way or anything. I just want to have a better understanding because we're all seeking for some kind of guidance and they don't know where to exactly look. Therapy is great. Not gonna lie, amazing thing. But sometimes there's something else that we're searching for. And like, how do we find that? And I'm not saying you may have all the answers, but how did you?
I believe the Bible says if God rewards those who diligently seek him. And so for me, I have experienced something. I used to be a worship pastor. I would have moments when I was on stage and I felt this power and I felt this authority. And I even have moments now when I'm talking and something comes over me. Like I watch videos and be like, something is happening there. And because I have experienced certain things on a great level, like for instance, this morning I felt the Holy Spirit. I said the Holy Spirit. I got so churchy really quick. I felt I felt God speak to me this morning. I'm trying to make it super normal for everybody else. And it was somebody from high school. I haven't talked to this person in 9 years, probably. And literally, Lord brought up their first and last name. I went to my phone. Their name was saved under something from long ago in high school, like a nickname. And I said, hey, I feel like I'm supposed to tell you the best is yet to come. Don't give up, or something else, right? This man texted me, haven't talked to him in 9 years. He said, oh my gosh, like I need to hear that. I'm trying to get into this new job and this. And I was like, whoa. And so for me, I have experienced a God that I just can't stop seeking after. And I even go to church still. I don't believe a lot of what certain churches believe, but I do believe that when people get together and we are all in need of the same thing, that God can speak to you. And I think he can speak to you individually, but it's something about when you get in a room with other believers, it's powerful. Now, let me tell you this, a church is imperfect. Okay. So you're going to go to church, something's going to happen. The pastor may preach something you don't like. It's just, that's how the church is. Like that's what you're going to get, because a pastor is a human being. It's God's house ran by a human being. They're trying to do their best. And so for me, I think when we're going to church, we have to have a little grace. Just how if I was up there preaching every week, I would want you to have grace for me. Because if I was preaching what I believed at 20 and what I believe at 27 today, it would be two different messages. So the pastor's on their own spiritual journey, you're on your own journey. But to me, the whole reason we go to church is because it's just powerful when people are in the same room in need of the same thing. And it's crazy how something happens in that building when we sing these songs. Like there's a frequency and a unity that is unmatched. And I felt it in the room. It's electrifying. I've seen people who are atheists be like, something's happening in here. Like, I don't know what it is, but the spirit, something is moving. And so, yeah, I mean, I say follow the breadcrumbs. But if the breadcrumbs is leading you to Jesus, you probably should go to a church. If the breadcrumbs is leading you to, I don't know the other guys, because I mind my business. I don't get nobody else. But I'm saying if the breadcrumbs are leading you to Jehovah's Witness, be a Jehovah's Witness. If the breadcrumbs are leading you to Muslim, be a Muslim. Just follow the breadcrumbs, and I believe you'll be okay.
I love that. I love how like you explained it in the best way. Like, you don't have to believe everything the church says. You may not be happy with that. And there are times that I have worked into churches and I'm like, nah, this is not for me.
Yeah, because I'm going to brunch after church.
What was that?
I said, because I'm going to brunch after church.
Yeah.
and I may get drunk. Okay, praise God. I'm kidding.
But we not. Like leading into that, in your experience, how has the sense of community and support from your church played a role in promoting your mental well-being and you fostering a sense of belonging? Like you just mentioned, like hearing that unity of everybody singing together and stuff like that. But like, is it just the songs? Is it the people you connect with? What is it?
Honestly, the crazy part is you can formulate that question both ways. What has it done for me mentally? Great. And what has it done mentally that almost took me out of this world? You know what I mean? Like,
speak on it.
I remember when I was a pastor and I knew that I was gay and I didn't know how I was going to get through that. And I remember the church having such, the church particular I was at, but a lot of Christians, when I came out, they had a lot of opinions about me. People talking about me that I prayed for, that I was, like, it's like, whoa, like in the same community that once made me feel so celebrated, like Hercules, like I was the chosen one, it can overnight change. And I don't know, I went on my own personal journey with all of that. And I'm not saying they were right for how they acted, but I believe when we present ourselves in community as a false versions of ourselves, you can't get mad when people are upset with you being who you are, when only you have showed them the false you. And when God revealed that to me, I was like, whoa, like I can't be hurt. Like I can't, I can be hurt that they changed on me, but Reynald, you was faking the whole time. you meant everything you said. The songs are real, but you had a lot
You
going on.
wasn't being
You were
you.
rebelling.
You
You know what I
wasn't
mean?
being you. Yep.
And so, but at the same time, what I love about the church community is when you decide to go back, they might have talked about you, gossiped about you, but they're gonna welcome me in like family. And that's what family does. We talk, we gossip.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did you hear about cousin so and so? Oh, did you hear about? I just came from a family reunion, baby. It was crazy. Woo! Oh Jesus, rip me out the woo, Lord, those niggas. I'm kidding, but not kidding. I'm emotionally drained, but I love them so much because they're my family.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, a church is like a family. Like we love each other no matter what, and we're gonna get it wrong sometimes. But it's like, how do you recover? And I love, like, recently I've been going back to church, and they welcome me back. Like I may not be singing there because my beliefs and my stance, but at the end of the day, those are still that's my family. And sometimes the family you just won't agree, and that's where love comes in. Like disagree that's love, because it's like, man, I really don't want to. That's how you start to become an unconditional lover.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't agree and you still love in spite of, that's like unconditional. Like even my conditions on what I want you to be, but I'm gonna still love you.
I love that. You were dropping some gems on us right now.
Sit down. I feel like I've been like church. I'm like, oh God, I hope I'm not so preachy.
No, not at all. And here's the thing: I'm a person who sees it sometimes. Like I had friends who were like kind of preachy to me.
Okay.
You don't come off that way.
Okay.
Like when I watch the clips, you never come off that way. You just speak how you feel, but it's a different way how you come off. Like you talk like everybody else. You're not preaching it. You're living it. You know what I mean? It's just different how you speak, and that's why I was drawn to it more, just because I was like, church. I was like a little bit taken back, but then I listened and I'm like, oh, we could talk like this? This is how I fucking talk all the time. I'm
Now,
always
don't
worried
say
about what the fuck
that
I'm
because
about
they
to
don't
say.
like me.
No. Love it.
Thanks, man.
All right. How do you navigate of moments of doubt or skepticism about your beliefs while also your faith? Like, how do you deal with like some of the skepticism about it? So like people may say like, I don't believe that, or like you may have people around you that doesn't believe in it, but like how do you find that still connected to that source, especially when all this stuff happened, when you just mentioned was like, hey, like this is what happened, I came out, I explained how I felt, and then they was just talking about me. Like how did you stay in that place in mental health, that journey that you went through?
I think for me, I always say I'm choosing to believe that it is Jesus, because I understand by how I was raised, how I was taught, that that's all I know. It's like if I would have grew up in another family and I was Islamic,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that's all you know. And so for me, I'm always careful to say I choose, like I'm just choosing to believe it's Jesus. I could be getting it totally wrong. And I think that's the difference between me. I'm very honest. I doubt. I don't know if I'm getting it right. I could be totally off as two left shoes. But every day I am diligently seeking God. And so if I'm diligently seeking him, I don't, even if I'm getting it wrong, I'm not getting it wrong, because the goal is to seek him, if that's what I was taught.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I don't think this belief makes you, I don't think it makes you bad or like far away. I think it almost makes you closer because it draws you in. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, people said if I were gay, God would separate from me. People said if I was gay, like, or whatever your thing is,
Mm-hmm.
and I constantly see God outdo that. Like, oh, somebody said this, and like I remember when I was about 21 or 22. I was leading worship at a big church back home, and somebody was like, "You'll never, if you leave here, you'll never sing on a big stage again." I never did it for that, but somebody told me that, and I said, "Okay." But I felt in my spirit that I was supposed to move to Arizona to get my master's degree and learn some more. I get there, people tell me, "Oh, you'll never get a job at a church. You don't play an instrument." But in my spirit, God told me to come here, and I kept telling people I'm gonna have a job by March 1st, 2019. March 1st, 2019 came around. I had a contract at a church that was 5,000 people. So let's go to back to that first thing. That one man said, "Oh, you'll never sing at a church like this again."
Yeah.
I'm at a bigger church now. And people tell me I would never get a job at a church because I didn't play an instrument. I got that. And the same thing about my podcast. I prayed if I was supposed to do a podcast, and I felt like God told me to do it. And I had that same feeling in my stomach. When I was supposed to come out, that episode, I used to record on a Tuesday, and the episode would come out on a Thursday. So if you're a podcaster, sometimes it's good to sleep on some stuff.
Yeah.
I wish I would have slept on a lot of stuff, but it's already out there now. That's my world. And but not this episode. I don't want to sleep on this. I had asked God. I was like, "God, if I'm supposed to come out to the world, let me know. Like, give me a sign." And so I already had the episode recorded. I had came out on the episode, but I had told somebody who was on there.
You came out on the episode before you told everything on the church at the church?
No, yeah. Or the church. I would left the church already. I had been gone for like 3-4 months. But on the podcast, I was still leading at different churches here, though. Mm-hmm. Like, I was still contracting places. And I remember on that episode, because Obio came on, and I was like, I told him, I said, "Hey, I don't know if I'm gonna really drop this episode." And I don't know if I messaged. I had said that in the episode, like, I don't know if I'm really gonna drop it because Luna and Phil were on there too. And I didn't know because I was like, "Am I really gonna come out?" Like, I don't know about that. Like, I was like, I have time to post it. And I went to work that day, and I asked God for a sign. And so I'm in the break room, and there's this song called "Do It Again" by Elevation Worship that came on. And that was the song I heard when I was supposed to move, when I was moving from Georgia to Arizona, and from Georgia to Arizona to Vegas. That song played all the time. Like when something was big was about to happen in my life, Do It Again came on. And I was like, "Okay, God." I said, "God, give me one more sign." I said, "I need one more sign that it's you." I walk out of the break room at Lululemon, because that's where I was working at when I left the church, for my first job when I left. And they were playing "I'm Coming Out." And I said, "What the heck? I guess I'm coming out then." And so for me, like, I don't know, when I say follow the breadcrumbs, I just really live that. And that's my experience. And like, so when my stomach started feeling weird, I started hearing certain songs, I pay attention to the signs. Because the signs be there.
Yeah. They are. I love that. And I must say, that takes a amount of bravery beyond belief. Because, like, not only that you're just saying these things that people who know you for so long don't know that about you.
Yeah.
But for you to share it to the world, that it's always going to be heard. It's a scary thing. I don't think people realize how big of a deal that is to release, like, the episodes that we do. Sometimes we say things on there and we're like, I said too much. I let you in too much.
Yeah.
A lot. But you looked for those clues and those things, and God spoke to you and told you, like, just do it. It was good. Just let it out. Yeah. But the amount of bravery that you have, I commend you. Like, that's amazing.
But Jonathan, you probably have those same episodes where you're like, because you'll have somebody listen, and it's somebody you don't even know. Because let's be honest, when you have a podcast, it's not your friends listening.
No.
It's people who don't really know you.
Yep.
And want to know you a little bit more, probably, or they're drawn to you, or they just like your content. And so sometimes people feel like they know you. And I'm like, no, maybe an hour of me. Like lights, camera, action. You don't know me when the lights come off. When it's just,
I love that. So we talked about a lot. I honestly, like, I'm following the breadcrumbs, and I think I'm gonna follow the breadcrumbs, and I'm gonna hit you up and ask you for some. I'm gonna have some questions and stuff like that.
Yeah,
There's
bro.
no doubt about it. But like I always like to wrap it up. I don't want to say goodbye to somebody, but what would be your see you later speech to the people? Like something to wrap it up and let them know, like, you know what I mean? Never goodbye, but I'll see you later. But what do you want to leave the people with?
Oh my lord! When you say that, I'm like, oh, it's so many. It depends on what person it is. Lord, boy, shout out by side. Let me. Oh my god! On my phone, I actually have these notes on my phone.
Go right ahead.
And I call them soundtracks. And so I have soundtracks in my phone
Mm-hmm.
because that's what I want to hear. I read this book called Soundtracks.
Okay.
It's really great for people. But so I have these notes in my phone that are my soundtracks to just life that remind me of who I am. So I'm gonna read one. Let's see. Because I want to leave people with something good. Oh my god, that has something really good. Okay, this is good. All right, sometimes like I don't know if you've ever been to a bonfire, right?
Yes.
All right, and when you go to a bonfire, the fire starts to die down eventually. But if you want the fire to continue to grow, you have to continue to put more wood in the fire. And I think that goes to gifts, that goes to talents, that goes to dreams, that goes to visions, that goes to hope. You have to keep putting the wood in the fire for it to burn. And eventually you'll put that wood in the fire that is going to burn, that is going to create a flame that the whole world will see. But if you don't keep putting that wood in the fire, if you let it die all the way out, you'll never see it. But keep putting the wood in the fire. Keep putting the wood in the fire.
I love that. It's been a pleasure. Amazing. If you guys are listening, like, subscribe, tell them where they can find you.
You guys can find me on Instagram. Everything is RENOLDKENT, Reynold Kent. That's everything. I think that's my Twitter. I'm really just on Instagram though. Let me just keep it real. And you can also find me at NSFC Podcast, Not Safe for Church Podcast. And that's on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Amazon. Yeah, check it out. It's a dope podcast, I think.
I think it's dope. I'm not a religious dude, but I love the content they put out. The stuff they put out, I'm surprised they talk about. So just check it out because it's borderline of some of the crazy shit I have said in the past. But I'm like, oh, you can talk about this? All right, we cool with it. So check him out. Much love to him. I appreciate you opening up and letting me know and giving me the opportunity to talk to you.
Man, Jonathan, I'm so grateful for you. I remember when I first started my podcast, I remember seeing your podcast, and I was just so like, man, like the graphics, I was very new to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember seeing like some of the conversation they were having, and I think it even like sparked ideas for me because I mean, you guys used to do like different people come on, right?
Yep.
And then I was like, oh, if I do a podcast, I don't ever want it to be the same people. So I think people don't realize when I saw somebody doing something at a high level, it inspired me to continue to do things on that level. So, man, I'm so grateful for you. You keep going, and man, you just never know who's watching you. Because I was watching, and then I remember you stopped. I mean, I was like, what happened to John? Like, where's he at? And I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're back. But you have to take time for you because at the end of the day, all this other stuff will fade away. But like, what are you gonna be when it's all gone?
A podcaster.
Period. That's my job. That's my only job.
That's our job. That's right.
That I don't get a check for.
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah. Not yet.
Later, guys. Be safe.